When Aldous Huxley wrote Brave New World, he took a bold leap into how humans would use drugs to kind of manufacture a reality for themselves. It was a very bold look. It was, 600 years into the future, 25, 40. I think he got some of the things wrong. It was a little dystopian for my flavor. And ever since I entered the cannabis industry, I've learned a lot about some of the truths that he was unopening in his book. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit today about how cannabis is going to influence our future. But I'm not going to go 600 years into the future. I'm only going to go to 2040. And in 2040, it's not too distant from now. We can feel it. But it's going to be vastly different than today. The knowledge that we're going to gain over the next 20 years is going to be vast. Your mornings will no longer involve heavy doses of caffeine because you'll know that taking this drug will significantly alter your body's equilibrium. And your body will no longer be able to operate at its optimal levels. And you're going to need more of this drug, and you're going to become addicted to it. And we know this is going to be the case because it's already happening. But what you will do is you'll wake up. And with your AI of choice, whether it be Siri or Alexa or whatever comes out in the next 5 years, you'll basically just ask it to do a simple diagnostic of your body, and then your own little pharmaceutical machine in your house will produce a pill. That pill will be based on your desired operating output. Whether you want to go to the gym and have the most insane workout to kick off your day, if you're going to go into the office and start hammering out that busy schedule that you have in front of you, or if you're going to play hooky for a day and come listen to some amazing speakers at TOA, it's up to you. You get to have the experience that you want. And this very same technology you'll be able to use throughout the day to have an amazing creative brainstorming session, or to relax a little bit after work, or to combat that terrible insomnia you've been fighting. This technology that is going to enable this is already here. The research is being done. The compounds exist. They have existed for many a time. And it's existed in this plant, this amazing plant. It's a very complex plant that we're just learning about, but for many, many years, there's been a stigma built around it. This amazing plant has been used in medicine, religion, and yes, for fun. But what makes this plant so amazing? That's the big question. Unfortunately, cannabis has been used as a weapon in racism, classism, sexism, and just about every other ism out there. It is so vastly available to the masses that the elite have used it to press people down. And I'm not going to be up here, spouting off as an advocate, but I will educate you a little bit. There have been very evil, often white gentlemen for some reason, that have used it to suppress the lower class or races that they just simply didn't understand. They thought that cannabis was the source of satanic music called jazz. Nixon used it to disenfranchise the hippies when he didn't like their anti-war movement because war is so good. It's been used in China throughout millennia, up to 4,000 years ago, or 5,000 years ago, I believe. In the medicine, throughout the years, it wasn't until very recently that cannabis was considered illegal. Same with India. When the colonialists came in from Berlin, that's where we are. When they came in from the UK, that's when the stigma for cannabis started being built. Ganja was a very big part of India's life. Now it's relegated to these government-controlled shops, and in just a very simple form. Mexico, the conquistadors, nope, they didn't understand what the Aztecs were smoking. I think you can understand when it became illegal in Germany, and then those evil guys in the US. This is just in the last 100 years where it became a tool to disenfranchise different groups that weren't in power. And it's really unfortunate because what has happened because of the stigma is that we haven't done the research that is necessary to really understand this plant. Now, to fully understand the history, I really recommend this book. Steve D'Angelo did a great job at summarizing kind of the history of cannabis and just opening up Pandora's box. I really don't have enough time to go through it all, so I'm just going to move on to this part, which is today. It's considered a Schedule I drug in many countries, the US, Europe, and basically anything under the UN. It puts it in the same category as ecstasy and heroin and LSD. Worse than cocaine, opium, methadone, and methamphetamines. That is insane. To hold on to the statement that there is no accepted medical use, it's just ignoring facts. But the tide is shifting. There are many legal states that are coming on board in the US. Only 4 that are adult use, so basically you could walk into a corner store called a dispensary and purchase it. The medical states, though, it's almost just as easy. In fact, it's almost as easy as calling an Uber. In fact, you can do it in an Uber, where you talk to a doctor, get your recommendation, and then you're eligible to go. It's because there are so many medical applications, who's to say that you don't have anxiety or sleeping problems or need pain relief or a stress reliever? So it's a big year. Presidential elections going on, won't talk about that. But there are many states that might be transitioning to adult use for marijuana. Some big states, California, my home state, is on the ballot. When that happens, you're talking about a $5 billion industry in the state alone. And then there's a couple other honorable mentions coming down the line, too. So all these states, not all of them are going to pass, but the voters are speaking, and these are reaching the ballots, and that's important. Because as the trend shows here, legalization is unstoppable at this point. In our age bracket, most of ours, 71% approve of legalization in the US. It's accelerating. And it's happening around the world as well. So these times, they certainly are a-changing. And as they change, science comes into play. We have learned that all of our bodies are designed with this amazing endocannabinoid system that is specifically designed to interact with the compounds in the cannabis plant. And not only our bodies, but basically any animals. People are making dog treats for dogs with anxiety, help them mellow out a little bit. Or horses that have a lame leg. Just rub a nice non-psychoactive balm on it, and it goes away. It's amazing stuff. So you have these receptors all over your entire body. And that's why when you smoke, you get all these unpredictable effects because you have a very complicated plant that has more than just THC in it. It's 85 unique compounds in that leaf that interacts with all these receptors that are in your body. 85 compounds, all with unique effects. THC is the most well-known. That gets you the high. It also has some pain-relieving components, but it's one. There's also CBD, which is the second most prevalent, and there is no psychoactive effect. Well, that's arguable. It does put you in a restful state. It relieves some pain. It relaxes your muscles. It helps young kids with previously untreatable seizure conditions like epilepsy, this really rare called Dravet's. And now it's just coming out that CBD is available for those treatments, but it's still illegal because of its association with the cannabis plant. So people are not getting their medicine because of these illegalities that were put into place years ago. This needs to stop. Like, people need their medicine. So that's two of the compounds, the most well-known ones. And as things legalize, we're doing more research and finding things like CBN, which is the compound that makes you go to sleep, which some of you have probably experienced before. But if you isolate CBN, think about the opportunities to create a healthful sleeping aid that doesn't have negative side effects. Or CBG, the building block of many of the different compounds, is well known for its use in treating glaucoma because it releases pressures in the back of the eyes. There's many other applications to it as well. It's amazing stuff. But what's amazing is that that's just 4 compounds, and I don't have enough time to go through the other 81. And a lot of the research hasn't been done yet because we're just scraping the tip of the iceberg right now. But just take a moment and think about the claims you've heard about the applications of cannabis, and now think about isolating each one of these compounds and understanding how they interact with your body. And then extrapolating a little bit and understanding that when they work together, they could have unique effects, and that the consumption method also has unique effects. So the research is being done now to really not only understand how to operate with these cannabinoids, but also how to produce them in mass. Because not all 85 compounds are very prevalent in the plant, but they exist. And now people are creating methods to produce those compounds individually in mass. And there's a lot of power in there. But again, it's just going to take time and money. And as we make the plant legal, we're going to have the ability to research the crap out of it. This is one of my favorite quotes from this movie. Everyone seen The Martian? I love it. Yeah, we really are going to science the shit out of this, and it's really going to make it very powerful. And the biggest problem with cannabis is that because of all these compounds and all these different effects, it's just made it very complicated to drop it into a bucket. Is it medicine? Is it a drug? Is it a tool? Humans love to drop things in buckets, but cannabis does not fit into a bucket because it infects your entire body. But luckily, we have enough support now and enough people driving the movement that we've been able to categorize things. I run a startup incubator. We're focusing on building business. I'm not the science expert. I'm not the drug expert. I'm merely an educator. But we do have the right people pushing the boundaries now. And people are approaching it from the medical side, from the recreational side, proving that it's a lot less impactful than alcohol, and it should be free. So thinking off into the future and how fast technology is able to impact research, you can see that cannabis is going to be able to play in many different realms. It is going to grow beyond its projected $100 billion industry market cap. It does have the power to become the next internet, where when a startup exists in the industry, they don't go out claiming the size of the internet, the market potential of the internet. No one does that. And no one's going to be doing that in cannabis in 5 years. They're going to be talking about the diet pill market. They're going to be talking about sleep aid market, health and beauty, athletics, everything. And it's not that far away. The science is being done. We just need to kill the stigma that has been wrongly applied to it. And that's why I started Gateway. This is the next trillion-dollar industry. Cannabis is going to find its way into everyone's life. And it's not going to be seen as a drug. It's going to be another useful tool that we use throughout everything we do. Thank you.